General Hospital. Nina targets Ava and her kid. Why she's in the wrong. Welcome to my channel General Hospital, where you can get news about. For more information, kindly subscribe and follow, and I am your buddy. Now let's get started. In the latest episode of General Hospital, Nina Reeves, Cynthia Watros, plots to manipulate Ava Jerome, Maura West, in a bid to win back Sonny Corinthos, Maurice Benard, favor. As she grapples with the fallout from her failed marriage, Nina decides to use Ava's custody case for Avery Corinthos, Ava and Grace Scarola, to her advantage. Surprisingly, Sonny wasn't the one to propose this plan. Instead, Nina concocts it on her own, marking a new low in her journey. The storyline on the ABC soap opera takes a darker turn when you consider Nina's past actions. Years ago, when Ava was pregnant with Avery, a mentally unstable Nina forced her into labor, stole her newborn, and planned to raise the child as her own. Given this disturbing history, Nina's recent decision to meddle in Ava's custody battle is particularly unconscionable. While GH has seen Nina evolve from a full-blown villain to a less malevolent character, this plot twist implies that her dark side is far from gone. With Nina set to approach Ava later this week under the guise of playing nice, the drama on General Hospital continues to escalate. Get all your General Hospital daily spoilers and news here at Soap Dirt, and stay tuned for updates on your favorite characters' fates. The bustling halls of General Hospital were no stranger to drama, but recently the tension between Nina Reeves and Ava Jerome had escalated to a boiling point. Nina's misplaced vendetta against Ava and her daughter, Avery, had the entire town on edge. Though Nina believed she was justified in her actions, those close to the situation could see she was veering dangerously off course. This is the story of how Nina's obsession spiraled out of control and why she was in the wrong. Nina Reeves had always been a woman driven by her emotions. Her tumultuous past had left her with deep scars, and she often found herself lashing out when she felt cornered. Her history with Ava Jerome was complex, tangled in betrayal and heartache. Nina's relationship with Ava had always been fraught with tension, but it wasn't until recent events that her animosity turned into an all-consuming obsession. It all began when Nina discovered that Ava had been involved in a scheme that put her daughter, Avery, in danger. Ava, always the opportunist, had made a deal with the devil, or rather, with the manipulative Nell Benson. The fallout from that alliance had left Avery caught in the crossfire, and Nina was livid. She blamed Ava for exposing Avery to danger and couldn't let go of her anger. Ava, on the other hand, was fiercely protective of her daughter. She had made mistakes, but her love for Avery was undeniable. Despite her flaws, Ava had been working tirelessly to rebuild her life and provide a stable environment for her child. She never anticipated that Nina would take her anger to such extreme lengths. Nina's first move against Ava was subtle, almost unnoticeable. She started by sowing seeds of doubt among Ava's friends and allies, questioning her fitness as a mother. Nina's manipulations were cunning, and she knew just how to exploit Ava's vulnerabilities. Her initial target was Carly Corinthos, a woman with her own complicated history with Ava. Carly and Nina had always had a strained relationship, but Nina's vendetta against Ava presented an opportunity for an uneasy alliance. Over coffee at the Metro Court, Nina planted the first seed. "Carly, don't you think it's concerning how Ava's been acting lately?" Nina asked, her voice dripping with faint concern. "I mean, with everything that's happened, can she really provide a safe environment for Avery?" Carly, always suspicious of Ava, couldn't help but be swayed by Nina's words. "You might be right, Nina. Ava's made a lot of bad choices." Nina's plan was working. By casting doubt on Ava's capabilities, she hoped to isolate her and weaken her position. But Carly's skepticism wasn't enough. Nina needed more allies if she was going to take down Ava. As Nina's campaign against Ava intensified, she began targeting those closest to Ava. Her next move was to go after Nicholas Cassadine, Ava's husband. Nina knew that if she could drive a wedge between Nicholas and Ava, it would destabilize Ava's support system. Nina arranged a chance meeting with Nicholas at the Port Charles Grill. She played the part of a concerned friend, expressing her worries about Ava's behavior and how it might affect Avery. "Nicholas, I'm really worried about Ava," Nina said, her eyes wide with feigned sincerity. "I know you love her, but she's been making some questionable decisions. I'm just concerned about Avery's well-being." Nicholas, already struggling with his own doubts about Ava, found himself questioning his wife even more. "I've noticed some changes too, Nina. I just don't know what to do." Nina's manipulations were taking their toll. Nicholas began to distance himself from Ava, creating tension in their marriage. Ava, sensing the shift, grew increasingly anxious and defensive. She couldn't understand why the people she cared about were turning against her. Ava's breaking point came when she discovered that Nina had been speaking to social services, raising concerns about Avery's safety. It was a calculated move on Nina's part, designed to put Ava on the defensive and force her to prove her fitness as a mother. Ava was furious. She confronted Nina at General Hospital, her eyes blazing with anger. "How dare you go behind my back and involve social services, Nina? You have no right to interfere in my life." Nina, unfazed, met Ava's gaze with cold determination. "I'm doing what's best for Avery. Someone has to protect her, and you've proven time and again that you can't be trusted." The confrontation was explosive, drawing the attention of hospital staff and patients alike. It was clear that the feud between Nina and Ava had reached a critical point, and there was no turning back. As the feud between Nina and Ava raged on, the collateral damage began to mount. Avery, caught in the middle, was deeply affected by the turmoil. The once happy child became withdrawn and anxious, unable to understand why her world was falling apart. Avery's distress did not go unnoticed. Her older brother, Michael Corinthos, stepped in to try and mediate the situation. Michael had always been a stabilizing force in Avery's life, and he couldn't stand by and watch her suffer. "Nina, this has to stop," Michael said, his tone firm but compassionate. "You're hurting Avery more than you're helping her. This vendetta against Ava isn't solving anything." Nina, however, was too far gone. Her obsession with taking down Ava had blinded her to the real consequences of her actions. "I'm doing what's necessary, Michael. Avery needs to be protected from Ava." But Michael saw the situation more clearly. "Avery needs stability, Nina. She needs her family to come together, not tear each other apart." Despite Michael's efforts, Nina remained steadfast in her belief that she was in the right. Her tunnel vision prevented her from seeing the damage she was causing, not just to Ava and Avery, but to everyone around them. Ava, feeling increasingly isolated and desperate, began to take drastic measures to protect herself and her daughter. She hired a high-profile attorney to fight the social services investigation and sought restraining orders against Nina. In her darkest moments, Ava confided in her brother, Julian Jerome. Despite their complicated history, Julian was one of the few people Ava felt she could trust. "Julian, I don't know what to do," Ava said, her voice shaking with emotion. "Nina is tearing my life apart, and I feel like I'm losing everything." Julian, ever the protective older brother, vowed to help Ava. "We'll fight this together, Ava. Nina won't get away with this." With Julian's support, Ava found a renewed sense of strength. She began to push back against Nina's attacks, determined to reclaim her life and protect her daughter. As the battle between Nina and Ava continued to escalate, Nina began to experience moments of doubt. She couldn't deny that her actions were hurting Avery, the very person she claimed to be protecting. The stress and guilt started to weigh heavily on her. One evening, as she sat alone in her office at Crimson, Nina found herself reflecting on her own past. She thought about the mistakes she had made and the pain she had endured. She realized that in her quest for revenge, she had become the very thing she despised. Nina's epiphany came when she received an unexpected visit from Liesel Obrecht, her aunt and confidant. Liesel had always been a source of tough love for Nina, and tonight was no different. "Nina, what are you doing?" Liesel asked bluntly, her eyes piercing through Nina's defenses. "This vendetta against Ava is consuming you. It's not who you are." Nina broke down, tears streaming down her face. "I don't know how to stop, Liesel. I thought I was doing the right thing, but now I'm not so sure." Liesel wrapped her arms around Nina, offering comfort and wisdom. "It's never too late to change course, Nina. You can make things right." With Liesel's words echoing in her mind, Nina decided to take a step back and reevaluate her actions. She knew she needed to make amends, not just for the sake of Avery, but for her own peace of mind. Nina's first step towards redemption was to reach out to Ava. It was a difficult decision, and she knew it wouldn't be easy, but she was determined to try. She found Ava at the gallery, working late as usual. Ava looked up, surprised to see Nina standing in the doorway. "Nina, what are you doing here?" Ava asked, her tone wary.